For me, like, I'm so reliant on the specific way that I grip a pistol to like mitigate all these variables that can cause me to miss. And then the wheelbarrow into a rope climb, and you gotta do 10 of them. And I go to the pistol, and it's like that scene from Scary Movie, take my good hand. Like, I can't, it literally trying to pull that trigger, I'm just like,
This week, I had a chance to sit down with Team Aimpoint immediately after they competed in the Tactical Games National Championships in Texas. Hear what the Karate Hottie, Michelle Waterson Gomez, Katie Batiste, Ivan Cortez, and Josh Gomez had to say about their performance. This is an episode you're not going to want to miss. All right, guys, here we are. It's like 11:20 at night. We're back at the Airbnb after you guys kicked ass today at the Tactical Games National Championships. Before we talk about the weekend, which was very exciting, let's talk a little bit about your backgrounds, both athletically and shooting-wise, that got you to where you are today. Let's start with you, Katie.
Athletically, I started getting into fitness, mostly CrossFit, probably 15 years ago, and when I was in college. And so kind of been naturally an athlete from as a kid, all different sports, and then got into CrossFit, was very focused on fitness. I'm a physical therapist by trade, so all of that comes naturally to me. And then 3 years ago, got into the shooting side of things.
Just 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and you're already smoking it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very good. Partly as a result of his tutelage, right?
No, she earned it. She worked hard for it.
All right, Ivan, tell us about your day job and your background.
Yeah, man. I mean, I grew up as a chubby kid, right? So I started playing soccer. That was my start there. But, man, my dad was a cop. I always knew I wanted to be a cop. So I went down that road. He's a SWAT officer. So I followed down his footsteps and, earned my right. But, yeah, been a SWAT officer, a detective on jump out for, I don't know, six years now. So my job, it keeps me occupied, you know, all kinds of hours, flexible. They call and, you know, you got to go in morning, night, whatever. But I try to keep my training as, I try to make my training fun because it correlates to real life, right? Like, even though it's stress shooting, tactical games, USPSA, PCSL, whatever it is, like, in my opinion, like I've said before, like, shooting is shooting. So I want to be able to rely on my skills if a situation demands it. But I also like to have it like, that's my fun place. Like, I'm the happiest with a gun in my hand. Like, that's my toy.
Yeah. Well, hey, and you and your dad have a range, right, where you guys set up these kind of stages that are similar to what you were engaging in this weekend. That helps a lot, right? As opposed to just, let's say you train CrossFit and you train shooting, but if they're separate, that's not as beneficial as being able to combine those like you would have to do this weekend, right?
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people that get into this like athletic two-gun space, like the tactical games, is the first time is that their heart rate's at 193 and then they have a loaded gun in their hand. It's very different, right? Like we're told as kids, like, hey, don't run with scissors, but now it's just like, here's the loaded gun, go for it, you know? So it's different, you know, as opposed to just going to an indoor range. So get the freedom to run around and shoot.
Very nice. Well, you guys smoked it today. All right, Karate Hottie, what's your background?
Well, I'm the Karate Hottie, so my background is in martial arts. I started doing martial arts since I was like 10. And, you know, I ended up turning it into a career. I fought professionally for 18 years, and towards the end of my career, I knew that, you know, I was going to have to fill that void of competition with something else. And that was also around the time that he was wanting me to start concealed carrying. And I didn't feel confident at all to conceal carry because I didn't understand the weapon. And it was just a big responsibility for me and something that I wanted to really learn before I did start carrying. And that's kind of like what brought me into the firearm world, is just really kind of dissecting the firearm. And so today was my second individual competition. I did last year's national competition kind of on a whim, and then I've done 2 team competitions with Josh, and it's been very, very challenging, but I think it's helped me accelerate my learning because I have to just like learn on the job basically.
Yeah.
And it's really helped me understand the weapon system. I'm just now starting to like understand how to break the weapon down and clean my weapon, because before it was just like, you do this, like you like this stuff, right? Like I don't and like loading my weapons and like getting to the stage and understanding how to clear the firearm. and all that stuff. So yeah, it's been a great learning experience. And I think like just the high pressure kind of, to me, is like just more realistic if you were ever to get into like an altercation and having to use the firearm.
And kind of like Katie, you haven't been shooting that long, and to watch you shoot today, I would assume that you had been shooting for much longer than you have. So you're definitely catching on to it quickly. You're also doing movies, you're doing commentating for MMA. I mean, you're staying busy.
Super
in
busy.
Retirement, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
When you catch the bug, it's like one of those things. It's when we have time, we make time to train.
Awesome. Josh, I know you have a boxing background. Tell us a little bit about that, and also your shooting background.
So I grew up boxing, then joined the Air Force, then actually got to box for the Air Force.
That's awesome.
As far as firearms, I was an MP for the Air Force, and then when I deployed to Iraq, I got attached with 3rd ID, so we did a lot of hands-on stuff out there. And then so when I got back, then I got sent to certain SWAT courses for Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that was it. After that, I kind of forgot about guns. And then when this one wanted to start talking about carrying a gun, I said, well, you know what, we'll get a concealed carry, but we got to train. And then just by chance, we fell into Aimpoint first off, created a relationship there, and then we started shooting more. So then therefore, came through tactical games. Yeah. Because for me, I wasn't ready for it at all. But yeah, super proud of this one because it's been about maybe a year and a half since she started shooting, and she's picking it up.
Equipment wise, obviously you guys are Team Aimpoint, but tell us a little bit about, and I guess we'll just go this way again. Tell us about like what kind of pistol you're using, what pistol optic, and then the rifle and rifle optic.
Okay. Yeah. So my pistol is a Staccato XL. I like it a lot for competition. It's a heavy enough gun. It's got a longer barrel. It's just good for precision pistol stuff. I have the Acro P2 on there, Acro C2 on there. Originally had the P2, switched to the C2 this season.
What was the reason for that?
The dot is smaller, so it helps with the more precise
precision
shots. Yeah. He just tells me what to do.
I told him to get the C2, man. Like, yeah.
I was like, it's not going to make that big of a difference. But then I looked through it and I shot it a few times. I was like, yeah, it is. It definitely does.
Depending on what type of shooting you're doing or just personal preference too. Some people like a bigger dot for kind of faster acquisition, but that small dot is kind of what I like too for more accurate work. And then obviously, what's your setup?
Yeah, right now I'm in love with my Walther pistol. That's what I'm using right now. That steel frame. Yeah, the TVP steel frame. Sweet. Love that thing. Yep. I got the C2 on there for a lot of the same reasons that Katie said. Like, just you can make a dot bigger by making it brighter, but you can make it like a big dot smaller, right? Yeah. So when for example, some of these stages they were like, hey, there were 4 pistol targets, so I dimmed that down to be more accountable, so more target focused. I could be like, cool, I see my dot, what it needs to be doing, send the round. A lot of the aggressive shooting, like on the TAC 2 gun stages, just bump that bad boy up, right? So I can make it a little bit bigger, just catches the eye a little bit faster. The P2, you can get away with it. I just like the C2 for my style, just a little bit better.
Yeah, cool.
I have the Staccato XC, and we got the chance to go to the Staccato range and shoot all the firearms that they had and kind of just compare right there on the spot. And I shot the best with the XC, so that's the one I went.
There was a lot of Staccatos represented out there today.
Yeah,
and for good reason.
I think
sure.
It's just a great middle ground and something that's very reliable and shoots really flat and. Since I've been shooting it. And my first tactical games, I did shoot my Walther PDP. But I have the Acro P2, and I love it. I'm still trying to learn all the ins and outs of the red dot, and, every time I do training sessions with Ivan, with DJ Shipley, with Josh, I'm picking up all these little things, and it's just a lot of information to try to retain. And at first it's like even just figuring out how to find the red dot. And then it's figuring out like that, yes, the red dot's there, but you're actually supposed to be focused on the target. Yeah. And then it's figuring out like, well, don't follow the red dot, like let the red dot fall into your eye. And so I'm learning all these things.
A lot going on.
So the P2 is good for me. I don't need the little itty bitty thing. I'm still having a hard time trying to find the big thing.
Did you first learn with iron sights and then okay, so that's kind of how we all do it.
I got my concealed carry with irons.
Okay, cool.
And so it was like the one eye closed, get it in between, and kind of hit that thing.
Even at the police academy. At the police academy, I was learning to shoot like a hard weaver with one eye closed and stuff, and guys had to fix me, to get me shooting in kind of a more beneficial way. But Josh, how about you? What kind of setup you running?
I have the XC with the P2 as well.
Okay.
I'm like Ivan though. I prefer the smaller red dot.
He does, because every time I look through his through his window, I'm like, where is it?
Yeah.
I can't see it.
But on her concealed carry and mine, she has the Glock 43, and so she has the co on that.
Yeah, that's a sweet setup.
It's a sweet setup, but I wouldn't say the Staccato is a middle ground. I think Staccato's...
No, I mean, like, as far, because you can get into the weeds when it comes to like competition guns, you know, and they can be really like fast, but like with the speed comes issues, you know,
and
from what I
especially
hear.
as dirty. I mean, that dirt out there, you guys just all showered up and look very nice. But a few minutes ago, you looked as like you worked hard all day, like you have. But I mean, that wreaks havoc on those guns, man. They can malfunction. Although, you guys no malfunctions today or minimal or
no.
nothing?
And I guess the middle ground is the wrong word.
Yeah. She's still going back to that.
But
I'll say it. Walther's the best. I'll just say it. I mean, like, is what it is.
Yeah.
But Josh,
I haven't had any
you
issue.
had your gun.
So when I got the XC, I've had it for now over a year, right?
Have you? How many times have you cleaned it?
Well, I was like, I'm not going to clean it to see how many rounds I can put through it.
And
I haven't. Well, actually, I'm lying. I kind of dried it off yesterday because it was, And then I put some oil in it, but yeah, I haven't, cleaned it. So I'm trying to see how long.
Wow, that's a good torture test, because that fine, sandy dirt out there we're probably breathing that in and everything. You guys definitely were breathing it in.
But for sure, we've probably shot, I'd say, a good 5,000 rounds through it.
Wow.
And just yesterday, there was a point where it kind of wasn't going to seed.
Yeah.
And then after that,
moving slowly,
just moving slowly. So I was like, oh shoot, I guess I got to clean it.
I guess this is it. 5,000.
No, it went through the whole day today, and so I don't know if I'll probably clean it when I get home or just.
Yeah.
He's treating it like a cast iron, like you don't.
Don't wash it. Yeah.
He's seasoning it.
Exactly. Well, let's talk a little bit about how it went for you guys this weekend. Let's start out with the sort of end result. Tell us what division you're in and how you placed.
So I was in the men's intermediate and I placed 8th.
Nice.
That's really good.
And how many tactical games have you competed in prior to this weekend?
We've done 3.
We did 2. We've done
Wow.
2 teams and 1 other individual.
So new and still doing really, really well. I mean, there was a lot of people in that division. So
yeah, it was a lot of people, but we, you get confidence from when we get to train with people like Ivan, because they'll tell you, you're good, unless they're just lying to us. You know what I mean? But
He's buttering us up.
Oh, great.
well, hey, his theory proved correct this weekend, right? You guys did great.
Sure.
You guys did great.
So it's motivating when people that know what they're doing are telling you, hey, look, you can do this.
Yep.
We just gotta work on certain things.
And Michelle, you did really well today. What'd you place and what division were you in?
I competed in the women's intermediate and I got 5th. So
Awesome.
it was good. Like I'm pretty proud of myself. I was sitting at 3rd at the beginning of the day, and like towards the end of the day, those stages really wrecked me.
People don't understand. Sorry to interrupt you. People don't understand. I didn't even understand how difficult that really was. I just saw clips and stuff on the internet and thought I was pretty familiar with what was going on. Dude, I mean, I don't know how you guys are still sitting here talking right now after what you guys went through. And one of the things that's cool is you guys were very dominant. You did a great job, but there were some people who maybe weren't as athletic and they were struggling. Like this one dude getting over the wall, he had to be 300 pounds. And several times I saw him and I'm like, oh, I think he's done. He wasn't done. He kind of like sucked it up and went back over it. And not one person, maybe you guys saw someone, I didn't see one person quit in the entire competition. Today it was like, and it's hard, man. I'm sure quitting went through a lot of people's minds, but nobody did it. And that speaks to their character and what that sport develops, that kind of mindset, which I want to come back to you on that, by the way. But, all right, before we get there, let's talk about, how you did today and what division you were in, Ivan.
Yeah, men's tactical. I came in 4th. It was
And tell us, because it's deserving. The 4th is 4th and 3rd were really. Tell us what happened.
It's a tight spread. Like you can look at like along like 1st all the way to 8th. Like it was a difference between a couple points, and that's what's crazy. I haven't looked at across all divisions, but I'm willing to bet it was probably the tightest division, just because everyone there's a shooter, everyone can push, and that makes it fun.
Something weird happened to you today, though, too, with a target, right? Tell us about that. I'm trying to get you to make an excuse. You're not wanting to do it, but I want to hear it.
Man, so I was it was day one.
Day one, yeah.
Yeah, it was day one. So for me, it was a 3-day competition. It was the last stage of the day. I was already dreading it. It was movements I'm not good at, like getting my body like swapping over things, man. Like, give me something heavy to move good. But like when I got to go over, I'm like, ugh. I was banking on that to be a pretty good shooting stage for me. I was going to make it a shooting stage, right? Small rifle targets, can't hit at distance. I love it. That's usually where I excel. First couple rounds, the staple gate out of my target started kind of blowing the wind. So I'm trying to deal with that.
So the target's flapping around.
Yeah. So my paper target's flapping around, and they're already tiny little targets that we were shooting at. And unfortunately, Mother Nature came in and said, nope, rip that thing right off. So when I came back, I'm just like, well, target's gone. And, the organization does what they can in terms of what's fair.
That's a tough one, man. It's tough. It's tough for them. It's tough for you.
Yeah, nobody wants to see it, right? Yeah. Right. You want to feel like you get beat by your competitors. You don't want to feel like something happened that caused whatever, right? And that's part of me feels that way. The other part feels like, hey, like we all fought. It's, to be honest with you, it's an honor to be able to compete at the level that we all compete at, and then to be able to make it back home and have this interview, right? Like, so it was a good time.
So I compete in women's elite division. Took home 5th place this weekend.
Awesome.
So goal was top 5, and I squeezed my way in there at the end.
And this is your first year in that division, right?
I competed in it last year as well.
Last year, okay,
yep.
Last year.
Third nationals. First year I was in women's tactical.
And so since you did so well, you were in the top 5, then you got the reward of doing more work, right? An extra stage at the end, which was like everybody in the whole place is watching you and your 4 other competitors. And you did really well in that stage as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure you were excited to be able to do that, but part of you had to be thinking, oh, another one.
It was
right?
rough. Yeah. I remember last year, I was just barely out of the top 5, and I got to sit as a spectator and watch them. And I was kind of just sitting there like, I'm really glad I don't have to do this right now.
Do you think there was more pressure then because everybody's there watching?
Yes.
Yeah.
In a way, yes. But then also it's like, I fought to get top 5 and I made it. And I'm like, worst that happens, I'm in 5th and I still achieved my goal. So it was kind of just like go out there and do what I could do and have fun. It just ended up being a very long, almost 30-minute stage at the end of a 3-day weekend. So we were all tired. You could probably see it on our faces. We were moving slow. Our shooting was good, but it probably wasn't as good as it would have been day 1.
Yeah.
It was dark.
Yeah. That's another thing we didn't mention.
It was dark
on that final stage.
Yeah. But no, it went well. I ended up 3rd on the stage.
Any issues though with like the targets at distance when it was dark, or did you see them pretty well?
Yeah, that was my first time shooting in the dark at that distance with lights. So there were lights shining on the targets out there.
Yeah.
I had shot that same distance 2 other times this weekend, but it was during the day. So yeah, it was just I guess getting that optic zoomed in to the right amount to where it was clear. I had to zoom a little more than I wanted. So there was a lot more float there with the reticle. So my first round, I missed more than I wanted to and got a little confused.
Katie, talk about what happens when you miss. It's not just that you miss and so you're down points. You have extra PT, if you will, to do
that particular style of stage. So there are the stages where you're shooting paper, and if you miss, it's just a time penalty. For that particular stage, you're shooting steel. So a miss, you have work penalties. So every time you miss, you're just like, oh, that's another round of whatever it was that I have to do. It just keeps adding up. So you take your time more on those stages for sure, because you're just like, I don't want to have to put the time.
But it's a catch-22 because you probably feel like I don't want to wait too long, but at the same time, if you miss, it's ultimately going to be a lot longer and it's going to be a lot more painful because you're going to have to be doing all that
it out even
work.
longer. And
you feel it as soon as you miss, you're like,
you're like,
well, I saw some of them going,
Yeah.
It's like one miss, okay, I can deal with that. But when they start adding up, it's like,
man.
okay, this is, yeah, you got to start, let me slow it down, figure out what I'm doing and fix it. Because,
Exactly.
yeah.
It was rough. I mean, watching you guys again, and I don't have that much of a feel for it because I wasn't actually doing it, but just going there and watching it, you guys are all in phenomenal shape. You're all really good shooters. And I don't care. You could be a Navy SEAL. You can be in the best shape. You could be a UFC fighter and you are going to be freaking gassed. There's no way, there's no human that is not going to be completely gassed doing what you guys did.
If you're giving it your all, for sure.
What's that?
If you're giving it your all. For
Exactly.
Sure.
And everybody was. Now, I think everybody's all was different. Like some people were definitely more talented, but everybody there was, man, there was nobody sandbagging it, dude. Everybody was.
There's a lot of sandbags.
There was a lot of sandbags. Too many, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I remember watching you, Ivan, on that stage. It was like was it a 200-pound,
Oh yeah.
200-pound, like bag
Yeah.
that you're having to lift up? Dude.
Yeah. I was, there was, at some point I stopped registering English and like, people were,
Talking to yourself.
yeah. I was like,
Andale.
yeah. I was like, I gotta do it was by like the later rounds too, right? Like I got no oxygen left in my brain.
Exactly.
So I forgot what to do.
Dude, your cognition has to suffer, dude, when you're putting out that much effort. So, no, man, it's difficult. What I like to get, hey, Josh, what do you think is your, like, what's your greatest strength and what do you struggle with the most when you're doing the tactical games?
Greatest strength is even when it's sucking, I remind myself to just smiling and get through it.
Yep.
You know,
Tell them what you told me yesterday.
what did I tell you?
Like when you were like frustrated in that rope stage.
Oh wait, I couldn't wake up. I forget what I.
He goes like, babe, I really was
Wake
like,
up.
he was checked out. And he was like, I literally had to like force myself to smile to like get back in it. And he said, I could feel myself walking down like,
It's a big old fake grin.
But then also my mind telling me, man, shut the. You know?
Yeah.
But then
Yeah,
also saying,
yeah,
bro, like
yeah.
you get to do this, right? You don't have to do this, but you get to do this. So we're here and let's have a good time.
I remember before your first stage today, you were saying, man, my back is spasming and stuff, but you got through all those stages and just kind of sucked it up. Just mental toughness or what? I mean,
Maybe, but maybe, but also just like I said, like during the suck, I'll remind myself to just say like, I get to do this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There's some people that can't, you know, so.
and like for the majority of the stages, like the worst it is, what are the worst time cap? 15 minutes?
Their usual standard is about 15 minutes.
Yeah. So like when you think about like, you're literally have 15 minutes of pain and suffering.
That sounds like something else that you used to do.
Exactly. Fighting,
Yeah.
right? But like 15 minutes, like you can push yourself in that 15-minute hole. Like in the moment, you don't feel like you can, but you definitely can, you know. I think the thing that's hard is that there's 4 stages or 6 for you guys on the first day. And it's just like the gap in between, because right before you're getting ready to go on, to the stage, you get this adrenaline, like, pump, you know, and then you're just like ready to go, and then you get off the stage and you're full of energy, and then, you know, everything kind of, then you get that adrenaline dump, right? And then so you're going adrenaline pump, adrenaline dump, and then and in between those you're judging and you're going to the briefs, and then you have to figure out
You should have done.
wonder what you should have
And
done,
getting all your
how
gear
to
ready
fix
for the
it,
next-
getting your
yeah.
gear ready, and trying to figure out like how to hydrate and how to like fuel yourself.
Yeah, I want to talk about too. Michelle, are there similarities between this sport and MMA?
Yeah, I mean, I think that like any good athlete will figure out how to correlate, you know, the sports and string them together and stuff like that. For me, it's great because it's a brand new challenge. It's a lot of things that are new to me, and so I'm like having to. I'm green all over again, and I think that's frustrating for me because you know.
You used to being so good at fighting.
Yes,
that
like
now it's a
fighting
new
professionally
challenge.
for 18 years, doing martial arts for close to 30 years. It was something that started to become second nature to me, and shooting definitely isn't second nature to me. And Josh knows this. Like, if I didn't fight, I wouldn't exercise, because I only exercise because it helps me fight. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you were trying to say last night that you weren't an athlete, and we're like, yeah, the UFC fighter is not an athlete. You're like, no, if I wasn't fighting, I wouldn't exercise.
wouldn't.
Well, you were fighting and you did exercise, which means you are an athlete,
When I
an
first
elite
met
athlete.
him, I was fighting, and
Yeah.
he was like, how many miles you run a week? And I'm like, run? He was like, yeah, like road work. And I was like, I don't run.
But
And
hey,
then
for boxing,
heavy,
that's,
it's
yeah,
heavy.
that's, yeah.
But their workouts are wild, right?
Yeah.
You got jiu-jitsu, you got wrestling, you got stand-up.
Yeah.
So I
It's like they
understand
get that
why
instead of running almost, right?
Yeah,
They get
but-
the
Oh,
same
you
benefit.
implement
but-
it.
You need
You
it.
have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
When he started implementing it.
I started implementing it, right? And and now it's the same thing with this. Like, I want to exercise. I would love to just learn how to shoot, but now that we're in tactical games, I have to freaking exercise. So
Consequences are a little bit different, you know. Nobody's kicking you in the face at the games, you know.
I would rather give me a 3-round fight before I get to the line, and that would be way
Wow.
We'll
fun.
talk to the games and put something
Ivan,
like
you
that.
you left it all out there, man. I mean, you were not to brag upon you too hard. I don't want to make you blush, but dude, you like some of the stages you were like done a minute before everyone else with really good shots and everything else. But afterward, you're just like, gassed. And we had this little tent set up. I don't know how you could do it, man, but you were sleeping in that tent, just chilling, just like rejuvenating yourself. And then you were like replenishing, because here's the thing. It's hard enough to do one of those stages where you go all out like that. But then when you do 4 or 6 the first day, it's crazy. So tell us a little bit about that, about trying to rest, try to replenish yourself, make yourself eat, right? You guys sometimes didn't want to eat, but you ate because you have to, right? So tell us a little bit about how you kind of get ready for the next stage after you just gave it all in the current stage.
Yeah, that's for me. That's always a struggle, man. I will go through an entire day and be like, "Damn, did I eat today?" Right? That's just me, because you know, just the way I am, and the life keeps me going that way. But like, my girlfriend Anna Lee was just the whole time just like, "Here's an Uncrustable. Here, take this."
She's your taskmaster, brother. She keeps you.
She kept me alive. Yeah. She kept me alive. Every time I got off that stage, like I was like,
And as hard as you guys are working, she was working almost as hard, because she's cheering you on. She's coaching you. She's taking pictures. She's totally multitasking the whole time.
One hand taking a picture, the other hand, you know, checking scores.
Video with her phone. Yeah. No, that's great stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot. For me, that's the hardest part. It's just keeping my body going. Cause like, I know myself, like as an athlete, I will keep pushing, but it's my body that gives out before my mind does. Right. Like that's just how I am. Yeah. So it's like, I know how I have to pace in order to be like, hey, like my mind will keep going. Like I always say, like, there's no body left in my soul. Like that's just, you know, when I'm at that wall, like I just got to keep pushing. But
Katie, you as your day job deal with a lot of that physical fitness and recovery and all that stuff. So what's kind of your routine between stages to make sure you're ready for the next one?
I'm not as good as relaxing as he is.
Can't sleep.
Yeah, no, I'm usually pacing, figuring out what I got to do to set up for the next one. I also struggle with eating, but I know what it feels like to hit the wall mid-stage and just have nothing left. So force feeding myself, trying to drink as much electrolytes and salt as I can. And I struggle with like warming up before stages. So I always try to get a little bit of a warm up in. Otherwise, starting a stage cold takes a little bit, especially with those heavier weights in my division to really, that first round is always the hardest one.
Do you guys ever find yourselves, like starting out too fast? Because it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, what you guys are doing. I would imagine that you would be tempted to just start out like 100%. But dude, you're going to gas out. You're not going to make it through the stage, or you're not going to shoot well. So how do you guys balance out that I don't want to fall behind, but at the same point, you don't want to start off? It'd be like a UFC fight, great first round, and then you're gassed, right? That's something you guys must struggle with as well.
yeah, for me, this was the first time that I actually, I put on a heart rate monitor. So it's the first time I've ever competed with one, and I was gauging my, perceived effort to what was actually happening in like biometrics, right? Cause like sometimes we think we're pushing, you look down on that watch, it says 170, like you're not pushing, right? But, so finding that balance for me, like I'm like a diesel engine. Like it takes me a while to warm up. I get better, but I can't start hard. Cause like hard for me to start is like people, like it's just it says 193, but I'm not moving fast.
Yeah.
Then everything starts to warm up, you know, and then I feel good.
Josh, are you aware of like where your competitors are compared to you? Are you just so focused on what you're doing that you don't really know what they're doing?
For this one, I wasn't, because I knew I was quicker than my squad. But for other ones where I've had people, you know, I'll take a look every now and then, but nothing crazy. For the most part, it's just you have to focus on you, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what their shots are like. You don't know if the next lift is going to be heavy for them, you know, so it's just really just focus on you and get through it.
And you really have to think, I mean, you got guns that you're dealing with too. And like, you could do something like draw before you get to a certain threshold and you'll be DQ'd, right? 100%. So it's like, you have to be thinking, even though you're putting forth maximum effort physically, you have 100%. To still be able to think. And so.
Yeah, when everything around you is completely stress chaotic, right? And that's the thing with, in my opinion, with the tactical games. Like when we first got into it, I thought, look, they're live rounds. They're not going to really go to town on us. And then you do your first tactical games, you're like, no, they're really trying to smoke everyone, you know? So yeah, it is kind of getting used to that, experiencing it and figuring it out.
The thing is, you guys are all elite athletes, but I mean, what you're doing, especially once you're totally fatigued, a lot of that stuff is dangerous. Like, for instance, just something like that rope, which you guys made look pretty easy. Dude, you could, if you fall off that rope, you can get pretty severely injured. It's not like there's mats down there that you're going to land on to cushion your blow. I mean, that's, you know, I guess somebody got hurt today and they hurt their knee or something. And it's like, I know all you guys are banged up. I don't mean to say you're not hurt, but someone got injured today, I guess. Yeah. And it's like, it's easy to see how that can happen. Even things like just running through uneven terrain and all this other stuff. I mean, you got to be in great shape even to attempt to compete in that. So yeah, kudos to you guys. Was there any challenge or any surprises today rather that you guys encountered as like, did something like, surprise you in one of the stages that maybe you hadn't encountered before, something you had to overcome, maybe wind on one of the long targets or whatever? I wasn't pointing to you, Michelle. I was just,
you were pointing at maybe wind.
Not intentionally. I was just talking with my hands.
It didn't surprise us because like we knew what was to come. It was the long range stage, and I think we had to shoot all the way out to, what was it?
460.
460.
Yeah, 475. Yeah.
And the wind was coming and going.
Yeah, and I didn't even know that you had to adjust for wind. You know, I was like, am I supposed to? They were like, you see that orange flag out there? I was like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. And I guess that flag is what shows you where the wind is blowing, and I had no idea. Like I've never.
It's just another thing that we now have to. I went from concealed carry to now let's figure out how to.
And so I was like very proud of myself for all like the close distance rifle shots. I've been working a lot on like my standing rifle and being able to like turn to my 45 canted acro on the rifle and like point and shoot. And like I did all my two guns, like the close two guns,
reloads
really, really fast. My reloads are really fast because that's what I've been training. Yep. And now it's just like having to add more training, like now understanding the long distance shots and like how do I adjust my holds and how do I compensate for the wind and all of that stuff. And it's a lot, even just for me, just like trying to understand where to place my face so that there's not so that I have a good sight picture. Yep. I was probably stuck at that tank for like 2 minutes just trying to find my target.
Yeah. That happens. There's nothing more frustrating too when that happens. We're like, I can't see it, and then you just want to zoom out as much as you can and all that. It's definitely challenging. I know you guys are both really good long distance shooters. It's weird because, you know, I've heard it said that, you know, knowing your drop, for instance, is kind of a science, but calling wind is art. So, I mean, how do you guys sort of deal with that? Because the wind where you're at could be one thing, and 500 yards down range, it could be something else. And in between, it could be something else. So sometimes you may have mirage that you can use to help you, right? Today we had a flag. You guys had a flag up that could help you, but you could be shooting and then from one shot to the next, literally the flag could be blowing pretty significantly and then just still. I mean, it's just, you have to be cognizant of that in addition to everything else you're thinking about. So it's, how do you get used to calling wind, brother?
Man, I love it. Like for me, like, you know, it's like, you know, jiu-jitsu is like the gentle art, right? There's an art to it. There's a beauty to it. For me, like any long distance stuff is like, I love shooting aggressively, but to be able to like read the terrain, to kind of like get a feel for where the compressed, decompressed air is, how it's going to affect your actual bullet's flight path and what most likely is going to happen. Really, it comes down to have you seen it before? How have you dealt with in the past? Knowing your gun, knowing those drops. So like, I knew my elevation. I knew for me, like what my mills, how much to come up, and I knew I had a good wind bracket. Most people miss when it comes to wind because they're a little conservative on it, or they don't know how to deal with it. So they'll just be like, hey, let me just come up elevation. And when they don't feel it, they'll send around, but there's always wind. We don't really live in a vacuum. So, and the terrain can kind of be misleading.
And then you may, if you noticed where you missed the first shot, you're going to have to compensate for that, right? Hold further left, for instance, or whatever the case is. But you got to be aware of where you're hitting. Otherwise, you don't know how to make that adjustment.
Yeah, and those adjustments, they can do funky things out there, right? Like if wind's coming from the left, like you would add. If it's coming from the right, you would subtract just because of, the ballistics behind it also. There's some cool like wizardry that you can do, but people like if you don't know what you're doing, like it becomes like you're saying, like you're just trying to shoot and then you're seeing poofs of dirt, but is that your round? Is it your neighbor's round? Like all these steel targets are so close to each other. Yeah. And one of the battles is like, man, I'll get up there and I'll be like, 1, 2, 3, that's mine.
Oh, dude.
Right? And you gotta do it every time. And then you can't breathe. Yeah. So now you're trying to count when you can't breathe. Math is hard, dude.
Yeah. Katie, has the long distance shooting gotten easier for you as you went along?
He's taught me a lot more this year, for sure. Usually the long range stages was just kind of like, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to wing it. I was just memorizing my holds and, not really accounting for wind or any other sort of, environmental, things that would affect it. But, for this particular weekend, we had 2 stages. We were shooting long range. So we had 475 today, 575 on Friday, which was a lot more windy on Friday and affected a lot more. And thankfully, he guided me in the right direction for not only my dial based on the ballistics of what I'm shooting and everything like that, but how much I was going to have to account for that wind. And I've never held that far off target before.
It feels weird.
And it felt so wrong, but I was like,
trust in the process.
Yeah.
Are you guys all shooting the same rounds?
So I got Katie, like, I got her on 77 grain, just it can buck the wind off a little bit more. You can still do everything necessary with a good 55 grain load. You just have to know how to compensate for it, right? Like there's no like magic bullet. It's really understanding what your gun is likely to do and then seeing how the environment could create variables. Yeah. So I think too many people, they lose themselves, and I need this round.
Looking for this bullet. And
it looks like the magic answer. I've seen guys show up to my range and like, it looks like they're, like a full keyboard, like a gaming computer to send one round. Like, bro, you just gotta do this.
Oh man. Josh, what was your favorite stage during this competition, and what was your least favorite?
My favorite stage, I think would be the wallover, and I thought I was gonna hate that one. I forget what that one was called.
Where you had to
get to the drag. That was good. That was good.
I think that was my favorite. And then my the one I hated the most was just because I completely screwed it up. Was the 2-gun. It was so simple. It was targets were 10 yards away. I completely missed, but it was just something.
Sometimes those are the ones because you're like, oh, I'm going to smoke this one, and then you just
all the time. And I just completely screwed that one out. Yeah. So that's the one I hate right now. Yeah, I hate that one.
Michelle, what about your favorite and least favorite?
Honestly, my favorite was the 2-gun with the spinner. I had never hit the spinner before. And so I did the 2-gun.
And with that, it's a target that you hit until it rotates all the way around.
So
right?
it's a steel, and there's a smaller circle on top and a bigger circle on bottom. And you had to get it to spin. So if you didn't get a full spin, then you couldn't move on. Or you could, but you just take a penalty for it. And I just remember watching everybody let the clock tip away on that. And earlier that day I had a 2-gun that I didn't get to my pistol. So I was really frustrated with myself because I am kind of a slow shooter because I am still learning.
Well, you're not slow, but you're a newer shooter.
Yes, I'm a newer shooter. So I think I what did you tell me? Like I try to overconfirm. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, dial in, let's get it done. And I just told myself, if I can't get the spinner in one magazine, then move on, you know? And so I watched Josh do it, and I like saw his technique, and it really was about being patient and catching the timing of, you didn't have to be fast. You just had to know when to shoot it to get the momentum going. And I was able to get the spinner like flipped over before my magazine was out.
Awesome.
So I was able to move through.
And obviously, I saw you and Josh giving each other pointers, and not only encouragement, but actually, hey, do this. But not only you guys as a married couple, but the team and even people not on the team. It seemed to me as an outsider that there's a lot of people helping. There's not like, you're going to try to give Katie bad information because she's your competitor. It's like, no, everybody sort of course you want to beat that person, but it's not cutthroat. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah. And that's where it gets hard too, right? Because it's like, we have to be athlete judges. So you're cheering them on and you're doing your best to motivate them, but you're like, man, they're hot on your heels too, right? So yeah. You're doing great, but you know.
It's also got to be hard too, because as soon as you finish a stage, I mean, you're completely gassed. All right, now come out here and judge. So it's like, and you want to motivate that person. And I noticed that all the judges were like, you got this, bro. Come on, good job. And it really was, it's got to be helpful when you are gassed and you got someone there encouraging you. You know what I mean? As opposed
to that, but someone encouraging that just went through it.
Yes.
So it's not like they're just hanging out.
And I think that's why they encourage you, because they just felt what you're feeling.
Yep.
You know,
they know it.
Yeah, they can relate.
Yeah.
They know it's over and it's just starting for you.
Yeah. But they'll say, hey, you'll get through it, man. You got,
you got 15 minutes. You're good, bro.
You just laugh because you know what they're going through.
Ivan, favorite and least favorite stage of this weekend, bro?
So I love the long range stuff. So I'm going to be like, I do well on them, but for me, I'm agree with Josh, like that get to the chipper stage. It was elegant, right? Like, it's like, you got multiple movements, it's grueling, but then you got to get your object, to go shoot standing rifle. And it wasn't far, but 38 yards standing rifle when you just burned your grip out. Yeah. Freestanding rifle and freestanding pistol at 38 yards. It doesn't sound all that far, but
Does have a ruck on.
Yeah, you got. I'm sorry, you got.
We should mention that, Katie. So you guys are wearing not just your tactical gear and doing physical fitness, difficult physical challenges, but you're doing it wearing a bunch of extra gear and often lifting gear on top of that. Going over the wall, what kind of weights were you guys wearing on your back in addition to the gear you're carrying when you're like going over the wall on some of those stages?
Yeah. So like, for men's, I believe it's 16 pounds.
Your vest is 15.
Vest is 15. The ruck is 20. I'm 220.
For that particular stage.
You got your belt, you got your mags, your pistol, but why I like that stage is because it leads to creativity, right? So you're problem solving. It's like, hey, the first you got to do bag tosses. However, if the bag touches the red sticks that they marked, it's a no rep. You got to do it again. You get no credit, right?
You throw it too far.
Yeah, you throw it too far. So now you're
got to go further.
You got to go further. More energy expenditure, and then you got to go again. Freestanding rifle shooting into the sun. It's hot. I shot the hottest possible moment, and then the next part is you put that 80-pound duffel bag also. So I'm sorry. So you got ruck, 20 pounds. You got your 15-pound vest, all of your gear, and then you're carrying an 80-pound duffel. Box step ups, getting over the wall,
and
dragging.
80 pounds sucks no matter what, but it would be better if it was evenly distributed. This is on your back. I mean, it's like pulling you guys backward. It's crazy. But another thing too is there is efficiency, man. And that's what I noticed about you, Ivan. Of all the people I saw, you were like one of the most efficient. Like you're killing it, but you're not wasting any motion. And Josh, you said something that was very interesting about that. Like one of the things is you're throwing the sandbag, and I think the tendency is to throw it and kind of wait and then go after it. But you were saying, I heard you giving Michelle advice, like, Michelle, make sure that you're stepping and you can't step before you have to like
gracefully do it without breaking the rules.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's still going to be hard no matter what. You could be the most efficient dude out there, but it's still difficult. But you're giving yourself every benefit of the doubt by understanding those nuances like that. Yep.
I think that's my problem. I don't understand the nuances.
Well, you're brand new to it. You were smoking it. I mean, because you're so humble and you're saying, well, no, but I watched you and you were doing phenomenally well. There is a lot to it, man. A lot to it.
I wouldn't fight you.
So what's your least favorite?
I'm trying to think. I don't do generally good at rope climbs, any kind of like pulling stuff.
Is that typical for guys that are bigger and or gals that are bigger? That tends to be more difficult. There's one of the in the women's division. She's like a little tiny petite thing. She's like up that rope like no one's business. It's almost like pull-ups, right? Sometimes real petite people can. It's easier for them to do pull-ups.
Lighter.
Yeah, pull-ups for me are hard.
Technique though. I mean, yeah, I'm sure because there was a guy 300 pounds and he was struggling, but like you were talking about earlier, as far as the encouragement, he was getting over the wall. He did a few rope climbs, and that's just like
that's
motivating.
amazing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. I my favorite stages are the ones where you have the freedom as an athlete to problem solve and find ways, like just like a USPSA or a PCSL, like you're trying to find efficiencies in the stage to take advantage of your competition. My least favorite stages are the opposite, where it's just like, this is one direction, everybody has to suffer, and you're probably going to time cap. It's like, well, this is all I got. I got nowhere to be creative.
Yeah. Katie, favorite and least favorite stage this weekend? Favorite has to be the end because you made it to the
that was pretty special to get to do that under the lights in front of everyone. That was one of my goals for this year. But I will say my favorite was the axle bar stage from today, where we were shooting out at that long range 475, only because I won that stage. Yeah. And that was a good win that I needed after my least favorite stage from day 2, which was the chipper that they're talking about. As a female,
oh yeah, it's her least favorite. My bad.
who has to go over the same height wall. First of all, I'm not a tall female anyways. I'm only 5'4". I also had my 12-pound vest, a 20-pound ruck, plus all my gear. That wall.
And the walls were
sandbag over too.
And a 60-pound sandbag, yeah. So for me, I was carrying as much weight as I weigh.
And the walls were a little taller than standard.
What was your technique getting up the wall?
So for me, they did give us a little boost. We could stand on the bag on the edge.
Yeah, like this much.
Yeah, it was not much. I kept trying to readjust. I was like, this is not working. As soon as I stepped on it, it would squish down anyways. There's the muscle up technique, which I tried a few times, but with the 20 pounds on my back, plus the vest being here, I just could not get my body over it. So I had to swing my leg over and kind of just like pure strength, just pull myself up and over.
12 times.
Bruises all over my arms from that.
You guys are all bruised up, obviously. Michelle, that's not new to you.
Who has the worst
from
bruises?
Boxing. Yeah.
So that was very defeating, just getting stuck at that. We had to do 12 reps of it. So I was just there,
Zach
for the rest of the stage.
Zach told me that you smoked that stage. I was somewhere else and didn't get to see that, but you really...
the one from today?
Yeah, gained a lot of ground on your competitors during that stage.
Yeah, that was another one where if you missed, you had to make up with extra work. So I luckily barely missed on that stage, so I was just cruising through the work and got done.
And is that the one that your penalty was like picking up it was like a single barbell, and you had to basically go back and forth with that? There's this one particular competitor I remember. She's a real tall, lanky woman, and she was like sprinting with that thing. I was like, "Oh yeah, how is she doing that?"
Yeah,
I'm like, she's running fast as I could without that in my hand.
I stepped out of the way.
Yeah, I was going to keep going.
Keep going,
yeah. Everybody kind of has their own specialty. It's weird, and it's neat watching you guys all do things a little bit differently. And I don't think people are trying to cheat. They're trying to do the best they can, but they're just defaulting to whatever they can do. And I remember watching one of the ladies. She was not really doing a bear crawl. Again, she's not trying to cheat, but she's trying to get through it. But it was and that's tough because they got to hold everybody accountable to the same standard. It's challenging, I'm sure. And do you want to give her credit for that, or do you want to? Yeah, it's tough, but you guys all bear crawled right. And
yeah. And something important about that stage that Katie was talking about, that 475, is that the people listening at home, you're not shooting prone, right? You're not on a bench rest. You're shooting on a tank trap.
Yes.
And any cant on that rifle is gonna, it's gonna affect your point of impact, and also you're creating flow. And I can't remember a time where I'm taking a seated shot uncomfortable like that at 475.
Yeah.
So it is pretty cool that the tactical games are starting to do those odd object implements, right? And then they're pushing the distance, the shooting demands.
And they don't, in that one, they sort of force you to shoot from these 3 positions, right? Is that the one I'm thinking of where there's like this kind of barricade? And there was a lot of misses on that, I'll tell you, man. I watched that stage for a while, and there was a lot of misses because it's challenging. It's in an awkward position. They set it up at a height where like you can't stand fully up, but you can't kneel really well either. Yep. I did see a couple people did kneel, at least on the center section of that one.
I think they had to be at the right height because either you had to stand up or...
And then everything's a trade-off, right? Because if you do kneel, you can be more stable, but then you're slower. And there's so many... It's always a balance. I mean, I think shooting effectively is always a balance between speed and precision, but in this competition, it really is. It's, you can shoot too fast and then you're doing all these penalty, exercises and that. Then you're more gassed. You were talking about your grip and how important grip is for pistol shooting, but you did something that kind of just gassed out your grip, right? And then was it a pistol that you were shooting with that? And you didn't have the recoil control that you typically have?
Yeah, for me, like I'm so reliant on the specific way that I grip a pistol to like mitigate all these variables that can cause me to miss. Yeah. And then the wheelbarrow into a rope climb, and you got to do 10 of them. And I go to the pistol, and it's like that scene from Scary Movie, take my good hand. Like I can't, literally trying to pull that trigger. I'm just like,
how much weight is in that barrel?
Man, I can't.
Two of the bags, 2 big bags, right?
255. So 110
I think
plus the wheelbarrow itself is just the wheelbarrow itself.
And the terrain is not like awesome
it's not even.
No, yeah.
How was at the end where you're like pulling that sled? You're pulling it either behind you or pulling it this way, right? In other words, it's behind you and you're running straight.
They specified we had to go forward on the way down, backwards on the way back.
And then the thing that looked like it really sucked was that weaving those bags through that, where you had to go over those 2 bars and then put the bag
under.
I don't even know how you guys remembered all of that, because as tired as you are and everything, I'm like, how are they remembering how many they have to do and which one they just did and everything? I mean, it's...
The judges helped. Yeah. So he was definitely very helpful counting my reps, because I'm like, just tell me when I'm done. I don't know if you heard me when I was done. I was looking at him. I was like, am I done? He was like, yeah, just go. I was like, thank God.
Oh, great job. Well, guys, I know you're all tired. You did exceptionally well. Congratulations. It was really fun watching you. Yeah. Thank you all for being here. I guess you guys could probably turn in now. And it was great to spend time with you this weekend. So thank you so much.
Bring it in. Team Aimpoint.
1, 2, 3. All right, guys, that's a wrap for this episode with Team Aimpoint. If this episode resonated with you, be sure and let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Aimpoint's Taking Aim podcast. We'll see you next time.